Welcome into T4G Sports. Today we are going to be showing you guys how to increase your recruiting rank just by utilizing the custom schedules and creating a strategy with these custom schedules. Now, before we jump into this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, click the notification bell, and let's light it up. So if you are a 1-star to a 3-star program, this first chapter is for you. The 4-star and 5-star is going to be at the end. So we do have a video coming out on how to get insta commits and the best way to go about that. And that is going to be popping up at the top right corner of your screen, the link in the description below. And always make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you guys can get those early. And another one on how to get a top recruiting class with a 1-star program that we use the methods that we're going to show you today with scheduling, but we're going to go into even a little bit more depth in this video here. But that video will pop up top right corner of your screen, the link in the description below as well. So what am I looking to accomplish with getting the best schedule? Winning championships and getting the best recruiting class. That simple. So there's a three process step that you want to go through in your head to try and accomplish that as much as you possibly can. And once again, this part is for 1 to 3 stars. We're going to talk about the 4 to 5 stars teams toward the end of the video here. So the 3 things that I want to cover: scheduling visits, because that gives you the ability to get a second insta commit, right? The opportunity to get a second insta commit. Scheduling visits are massive in this game. Massive, massive, massive. A lot of people want to try to break down sway or hard sell or soft sell compared to send the house, compared to this, that, or the third. There's nothing more valuable than landing a great visit. Okay, there's nothing better than that, because you could get complimentary visits on top of that, and then you could get 3 commits, insta commits, that very next week. Visits are key for success by landing the right visits. So scheduling the right teams for those visits is imperative. So the second part is you want to keep championship contender players still available to be recruited. If you lose too many games, you'll lose out on those players. And when your window's already small from being a 1 to 3 star, then you don't need to make it even smaller. Okay, don't go out with the idea of like, yeah, I don't care if I lose. Right? In your head, you want to think about the philosophy, the method. So I'll tell myself like, yeah, hey, I don't care if I lose because I'm going to rely on my method and I'm going to be fine. But I'm still not out there trying to lose. You know what I'm saying? So try and increase those odds to the best of your ability, because I know I've mentioned before, like, look, guys don't really care if you're losing. They don't unless they're a championship contender. That's the number one thing. Okay, they don't. Most of those guys, if they're deal breakers or other things, then a championship contender, whether or not you're winning a bunch of games, is really not going to help you land that guy that year. Now in the future, it could help you land more guys, because you could turn around and, the more games you win, the better your program's going to be, the more stars you're going to get, the more hours you're going to get, yada, yada, yada. It just snowballs after that. So obviously you want to win. My goal is not to just keep losing every single year, and I want to make that very, very, very clear. However, I don't want you guys to stress about winning so many games that, I'll never be able to recruit good because I'm not winning a lot of games. Don't go in with that strategy either. So number 1, scheduling visits. Number 2 is keeping championship players alive. And then number 3 is play style. The more games that you win, the better opportunity you get to keep your play style for the players that are wanting play style. That's their deal breaker. Okay. Now you could still win and still lose your play style. That has happened as well. You got to do well. You can't just win and be like, oh, my play style is going to be fine. No, they got to do well within that play style on that side of the ball. Okay, so those are the 3 things that you want to be thinking about on how to accomplish those 3 things through your custom schedule. So quickly, how the stars work in comparison to the visits. If you're scheduling visits on teams that you are facing and they're a 1.5 star and you win that game, you get a bonus. If they're a 2-star, you get a bonus. If they're a 3-star, you get a bigger bonus. If they're a 4-star, you get a bigger bonus than the 3-star. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you want to be smart with how you're scheduling these teams. So knowing how the stars work, knowing also that I never ever want to ever play at someone's stadium if I can help it. Why do that? Increases your chances to win by playing at your home stadium. That's one. So it keeps championship contender players alive, play style players at a better opportunity to keep your play style higher by winning the game. There's all kinds of different variables with that, but just it's very obvious too that you don't want to have an away game here for no reason, because then I can't schedule a visit. So then what's the point? So make sure that you are also playing at home. I know it's a simple thing most of you guys know, but I have to cover it. So knowing what I know, this week I scheduled Troy, right? Why did I schedule Troy? If you look at it, it's like, all right, hey, if I can go to a 3-star team, look at the 3-star teams, none of these guys I can beat in a simulation that I'm comfortable with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 2 stars, right? And I don't see anyone here that I'm like, oh, this is a guarantee, except for Troy. Troy is the closest opportunity I have to get the most amount of stars, but if it's uncomfortable for you, you may even want to drop even further and say, well, you know what? I'm just going to go, instead of going with Troy, they are a 2-star, maybe you'll just go Navy. That's fine. That's a 75 overall. That's a little bit easier. I'm a little bit more confident that our guys can do something, so I'll schedule Troy. Okay. The next one here, if you want to do an FCS team, I would recommend doing it earlier. You could schedule 1 game here and then have an opening week 3, or you could just have an open week, 3 weeks in a row and then schedule a team here. It's just whatever you want to do. Week 3, that's if you can get a visit scheduled week 3, that'd be great. That'd be massive. And I'd still set that up for myself personally to where I would try to get a week 3 visit scheduled. It's very, 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 very tough. Okay, so this one here, again, I would just look at, a 2-star program. I'm looking at Army here, which is great. Like, that is a great one. I wish I could schedule Army actually here at East Carolina. I doubt I actually can. I'd put an opening there, and then I would try to actually schedule Army here, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to actually do that. Yeah, I just don't see that being a possibility. Tulane, these teams are way, way, way too tough. 76 overall here. Which one? Yeah, for Wyoming. Okay. 3-star program. I got nothing. But yeah, this is something you're always going to want to check. You're going to want to check this each year because their overall can go down, but their stars can stay high. Okay, so that's something you want to capitalize on to the highest ability. So this is a perfect one, JMU here. Okay, that is a great game for me to schedule is JMU. And for this week here, this is where I would schedule Army. Army right here, Black Knights, boom. Okay, so I got Army. So then here I can go an open week. It's just kind of what you want to do. You can swap these two if you really want to, or whatever different little variable. I just wouldn't go past week 3. And this is great for a 1 to 3-star program. Okay, so my requirements stop me from being able to use that schedule that I showed you, but all I did is I switched it around. I did Army, I did Ohio, JMU, and then I still have Troy there. So switch it around a little bit and I'm good to go. So if you are a 4 to 5-star team, this is where things become a little bit more difficult for you because if you're a 5-star team, you got to just schedule guys that are probably 3 stars that you're going to be able to beat. You're looking at like Kansas here. Perfect. Okay, so they are a 3.5-star program. You could schedule those teams, that Mississippi, right? You have them play at your home. This is even if you're a 4-star team, because there's not that many. If you can come across it to where you're like, hey, there's a 4.5-star, because if you're a 4-star program, the real only benefit's going to be if you do a 4.5-star program, but you got to be able to beat them. Okay, so that's something you want to look at. And if you can't almost guarantee yourself a win, and you're like, hey, the chances that it's higher that I'm going to lose that game, don't do it. Don't do it. Keeping that championship contender alive is much better than, losing to a team that you tried to schedule and be a hero. It doesn't make any sense to do that. You should schedule teams that you're going to just simply beat. And then, like, let's say, you're maybe Ohio State or Georgia or something like that. Then maybe you may look at it and say, hey, this week 7, I'm going to play with fire. And I'm going to schedule someone who is to my same level. Something like that. I don't think that's necessarily a great idea, but if you're confident in yourself, it wouldn't be a bad time to be able to schedule that visit and then get complimentary visits. But I want you guys to rely on the complimentary visits. So if you're at week 7 here, if you're a big school, I do think a better strategy would be to schedule, a 4.5-star or something like that. Then schedule visits and then turn around. You don't want to go too low. on those weeks that you're going to plan on scheduling a visit. But a team that you're pretty confident that you're going to beat, even in simulation, I'd go with, let's go 4 stars here, and I just kind of look at them. These are perfect schools to go with. So Auburn would be absolutely perfect because they're an 84 overall. This is a good chance you're going to be able to beat them. Then you schedule a visit. You'll get a little, you're not going to get that big of a boost for actually beating them. So what you got to do is get complimentary visits. That's how you're going to win that. All right, so that's what you want to do with 4 and 5 stars. You still want to do the same process where you play at home and you want to have your opening weeks in the beginning. After a couple of years, once you get elite recruiter unlocked, then yeah, maybe don't do this. Maybe say, hey, week 7, I'm going to keep that open. I want my guys to get a break. That's fine. But in the initial stages of a rebuild, you want to take the right steps to be able to land a top 5 recruiting class, to get the best recruits possible for the future, to win a championship, and to unlock elite recruiters so then you can move on to greener pastures.